Hello, and welcome to Afford Law. I'm attorney Paul Whalen. At Afford Law, we practice criminal and family law throughout Massachusetts. Our fees are based on your income, so the less you make, the less you have to pay. Today, I wanted to take a moment to speak with you about field sobriety tests. Field sobriety tests are physical coordination tests that a police officer will give to you if they suspect you of drunk driving or operating under the influence of alcohol. They are the standard field sobriety tests are a battery of three specific tests that they will give you. There are a number of sobriety tests that they can give, and sometimes they do, such as saying the alphabet from a certain letter to a certain letter, or counting backwards between two different numbers. Touching your fingers to your nose is another one, but those aren't the battery of standardized field sobriety tests. The battery of the three tests are: one is the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, called the HGN. The second one is the 9-step walk and turn, and number three is the one leg raise. So they are physical coordination tests, but the officer is also looking for a lot of things, specifically whether you can follow instructions. They will give you each at the beginning of each of the tests. They will explain to you and demonstrate the test and tell you not to start the test until they tell you to do so. A lot of times people will start the test out of nervousness. That gets entered into the police report as a clue or a cue for intoxication, that you can't follow instructions. So there are, like I say, there are the three, and combined, there is some evidence to suggest that in interpreting the results of the three tests, that they are a good predictor of whether you are under the influence of alcohol or not. So the first one is the horizontal gaze nystagmus test. I know that's a mouthful, so they call it the HGN. And that's the one where a police officer will take his or her finger or a pen and have you follow the tip of their finger or the tip of the pen back and forth. And they're looking at your eyes. Because what happens is, all things being equal, if you're not intoxicated, they're looking for the pursuit on your eyes. So your eyes will be able to smoothly follow the stimulus, the pen, or the finger, whatever it is, back and forth without any jerky movements. That's what nystagmus is a jerky movement of the eye. So there's not smooth pursuit. And there's basically looking for a few things, whether to see if there is smooth pursuit throughout or not, whether there is nystagmus prior to 45 degrees. That's another indicator, and whether there is a distinct nystagmus at the limits of each of your eyes. And there are two eyes, obviously, so there are six possible clues or cues from that test. Number two, the test is the 9-step walk and turn. So they have you stand in a fairly awkward position while they're explaining it. You have one foot in front of the other, toe to heel. They explain the test, and you are instructed to walk 9 steps, heel to toe, on a straight line, counting out loud. When you get to the ninth step, you're to take a series of small rotational movements to turn, and then you are to walk back 9 steps, heel to toe, counting out loud to the end. So they're looking to see many things in that case. They're looking to see if you could follow instructions. Again, if you started too soon, if you're losing your balance, if you step off the line, if you're not stepping heel to toe on each of the steps. A lot of people get messed up with the turn because it's a very specific way of turning. You can't just turn around. You have one foot basically planted and the other foot pivots, so you turn your body 180 degrees in the other direction. So again, they're looking to see if you can perform the test or not. The last of the three tests is the one leg raised. So again, there's the instructional phase where they explain and demonstrate the test to you. And at some point, they tell you to begin. So you pick up one of your feet, either one, whichever you're more comfortable with, raise it six inches or so off the ground, looking down at your foot, and you're with your arms by your side, and you're counting out loud: 1001, 1002, 1003. And they want to see if you can get to 30 seconds of that. So again, they're looking if you can follow instructions, if you lose your balance, if you're raising your arms for balance, if you fall over, Things if you put your foot down, if you're hopping, those are all significant indicators that you're under the influence, and they are more likely to charge you with OUI. So those are the three tests. One of the interesting things is that these tests have come from the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, another mouthful. But that's where the research is done, and that's where they come up with these tests. In Massachusetts, the HGN is not admissible. Uh, it's sort of left open. I believe that if the Commonwealth ever wanted to get an expert to come in and testify to it, that's possible. But in my 25 plus years, I've never seen that happen. The HGN is basically not admissible. So that's the question is, I always wonder, why do they keep doing that? Why do they keep administering that test? But they do, perhaps just to make a decision or not. So that test doesn't come in if you go to trial. So you don't have to worry about that one. Another thing to keep in mind, that if you don't have to take the tests, they ask you, will you step out of the vehicle and will you take these tests? You can refuse to take the field sobriety tests, and that refusal cannot be used against you if your case goes to trial. So it's a very good idea to not refuse the test, to not take the tests, because it can't be used against you. They're looking to arrest you. They're looking to make a case against you by doing the tests. You are at least potentially giving them more ammunition against you. So if you don't want to take the test, my advice is just don't take the test. Be polite when you refuse, but say I don't want to take the test, and it's going to be more difficult to prosecute you for the OUI. So those are a few things that I had in mind as I was working over a few OUI cases that we have here in the office. But I just wanted to alert you to that. So those are the standard field sobriety tests, and they can be used against you if you participate, but it can't be used against you if you refuse. So that's the best advice, is don't take the test. At Afford Law, we do practice criminal law and family law throughout Massachusetts. Our fees are based on a sliding scale based on your income, which means the less you make, the less you pay. Feel free to visit us at affordlaw.org, and feel free to book a free virtual appointment with me. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about any criminal or family law matters in Massachusetts. Because at Afford Law, we're making justice affordable. Thank you.